Go.
Okay, so welcome my virtual audience to my informative presentation. Here is my real audience, in the flesh.
Hi.
Yes, they're all adults. So without further ado, let me begin. So, I got a question to start this out. Does anybody know what you call a person who hangs out with musicians?
A drummer.
Oh, she knew the joke! She stole my punchline! How did this happen? Oh my goodness. Okay, it's probably the fact that she's my mother. Next time, don't bring your mother. Okay, so imagine yourself on a morning jog after several minutes of running furiously. You're absolutely exhausted, and your heart is just beating in your chest. You can feel it without even touching your chest. Imagine that. Now, what if I told you you could find that same level of fitness in playing a musical instrument? I know, you probably think I'm crazy, but I'm about to show you that I'm not crazy. You're crazy. So, no, in all due seriousness, my topic today is going to be about drumming and the fact that it is not just useless and a waste of time, and that it does in fact need to be taught, and the fact that if taught correctly with the right emphases, with the right emphases, that it can in fact prove not only to make a person a better musician, a better drummer, but also a better person in a lot of different ways. So, without further ado, let's begin. So, the first point is that drumming is very physically demanding. I don't know if any of you have seen a drum set. Actually, I know my mom has, because I'm a drummer. So, I know at least one of you has seen a drum set, but it has two pedals on which you place your feet and various toms and different drums and cymbals up above. So, all this to say that drumming requires a lot of movement, and therefore when a drummer performs, his body's going all over the place, so it can be very physically demanding. And I'm not just making this up. There was a study done at the University of Chichester that basically said that a drummer's heart rate went up after a performance, significantly enough to prove a valuable and valid form of fitness and like a workout. And I found this particularly interesting because although I knew parts of that, I didn't know that it was enough to be valid. So I found that particularly interesting. So that may be interesting, but if you thought that was cool, wait until you hear this. Drummers are smart. So it can also affect the brain in various ways. The drummer, as his role in the musical group, has to provide the steady beat, and he has to always be on time, and that creates a lot of brain growth. So there was a study done at Karolinska Institute that tested the intelligence of drummers compared to normal people. So there was a study done, and they took drummers who could keep a beat and could stay on time, and they did an intelligence test on them, and then they did an intelligence test on some other people who were just normal. And then they proved that the drummers in fact scored higher, so therefore they are smarter. So therefore we are actually smarter than normal people. So why is that? There was a study done at Oxford that showed that it creates a natural high from being on time and being within the beat and knowing the beat. And it also increased happiness and pain tolerance. I don't know how they decided to check pain tolerance, but they did, so that's cool. So all this information is very fascinating, but how on earth should we use it? So what? So teaching and drumming involves many things, including reading music and knowing the theory and like all the different rhythm theory and stuff. But in order for a teacher to be able to create all these results in a student, they should focus on the internal and sort of the natural things, the things that we would think about as like being a natural drummer. So they should focus on the drummer being on time and being within rhythm and keeping that steady beat. The biggest help to this would be to use a metronome, because without any debate, this is definitely the best way to help a drummer stay on time and to keep that steady time. And so that would help them to be on time. And so the Bible, we're going to bring the Bible into this. And so in 1 Corinthians 3:16 through 17, it talks about taking care of the person and being in good condition and stuff like that. So, and that's why we should keep this as something important. So we see that drummers are both physically and mentally they benefit both physically and mentally from drumming, and the teacher should emphasize these internal skills in order to create these effects. So to wrap things up, I'm going to tell you a little story. So there once was a drummer, and he goes into a music store because he's tired of his friends picking on him for being so dumb. And he goes up to the salesman and he says, "I want that trombone and that accordion." And the salesman says, "All right, you can have the fire extinguisher, but not my radiator." Thank you all for watching.